Hello, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I am so glad you're here with us today.
It's wonderful to be here. I'm ready to learn.
Today, we're going to do something a little different. Usually, the world moves so fast, business moves fast.
English definitely moves fast.
It does. But today, we're going to slow down. We're going to just take a deep breath.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I think we all could use a moment to just breathe.
We want to create a calm, safe space here. This is a place where you can learn without any of that pressure.
No tests.
No tests here, no deadlines, and absolutely no judgment. It's just us having a conversation about something that, well, it matters to a lot of us.
And a safe space is exactly what we need for this topic. Because if I'm being honest, today's topic can be a little sensitive. It touches on our feelings, our confidence.
You're right. Today, we are exploring a feeling that so many professionals have. It's like a shadow that follows them into the office or onto that Zoom call.
And that feeling is called
It's called language imposter syndrome.
imposter syndrome. That's a heavy phrase. It sounds really serious. What does it mean exactly in this context with language?
It's a very specific internal feeling. It's that little voice inside your head that's always whispering, my English is not good enough.
That voice. I know that voice.
It's the deep fear that you're somehow faking it, even when you know you're doing your job very well. It's this feeling that you're wearing a mask and you're terrified that at any moment, that mask might fall off.
I see. So it's when you feel like you don't really belong in the room or at the table just because of the language you're speaking.
Yes, that is the very heart of it. And it's so common for non-native speakers. Just imagine the situation. You work for a big international company. You're smart.
You have degrees, years of experience.
Exactly. You are skilled at what you do. But because English isn't your first language, you feel small.
Small. That's a really powerful word for it. It fits perfectly.
You feel that fear in meetings. You feel it when you're writing emails, hovering over the send button.
Oh, yes. Rereading it 10 times.
Yeah. During presentations. It can feel like you're a child in a room full of adults, even though you are an absolute expert in your field.
But is this feeling really that common? I mean, sometimes I look around my office or I look at all the faces on a video call and everyone else just seems so confident. They seem so strong.
It is incredibly common. It's probably the biggest secret in the international workplace. I've talked to managers, to engineers, directors, even CEOs. So many of them feel this way.
Really? Even CEOs?
Yes. They might look perfectly confident on the outside, but inside, they're worrying about their verb tenses. They're thinking about their accent.
That's surprising. I always assumed the people at the top have it all figured out.
Well, nobody has everything figured out. And that's why our mission today is to explore why we feel this way. We want to understand the root of this fear.
And then what to do about it.
And more importantly, how to start feeling more confident and professional starting today. We want to help you learn how to silence that negative voice.
I love that mission.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our listeners are probably nodding their heads right now. They know this feeling very, very well. I know I've felt it.
Let's talk about that feeling then. Let's not just describe it in general terms. Let's talk about the body, the physical reaction. Think back to a time when you were really nervous about your English. When you get nervous, what happens to you physically?
Okay. I can think of a specific moment. It's usually right before a big call, Zoom or Teams meeting with a new client, maybe. The changes happen immediately.
What's the first thing you feel?
First, my hands. My palms get a little damp. They sweat. It's embarrassing. I have to, wipe them on my chance under the desk so nobody can see.
Yes, sweaty palms. That's a classic sign of anxiety, a very physical sign.
And then it's my heart. That's the most distracting part. It just starts to beat so fast it feels loud in my own ears. Boom, boom, boom in my chest.
Like you can hear it.
Yes. Sometimes I genuinely worry that the microphone can pick it up, that they can hear my heart beating.
That's such a vivid description, and I can promise you the microphone cannot hear your heart even when it feels that loud to you.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
It is. This is your body's reaction to fear. It's that fight or flight response. Your body thinks you're in danger, but what's the danger, right? There's no tiger in the room. There's no fire.
No, the danger is all in my head.
Exactly. The fear is internal. You're thinking thoughts like, what if they ask me a question and I don't understand it?
Oh, that is the big one. That's my number one fear. What if I don't understand? Or what if I use bad grammar? What if I use the wrong verb 10 cents? And Everyone laughs at me.
That's the nightmare scenario we build in our minds. We're afraid of being embarrassed. We're afraid of losing respect.
Yes, losing professional respect.
Let's look at some common scenarios where this happens. We all know them. The most common one has to be the weekly meeting.
Ugh, the weekly meeting. I know this one very, very well. Every Monday morning.
Picture the scene. You're logged in, you're sitting there, maybe your camera's on, and you are just waiting for your turn to speak.
Yes. And honestly, when I'm in that situation, I'm not really listening to the other people. I know I should be. I should be listening to their project updates, but I'm not.
So what are you doing instead?
I'm just waiting. And I'm rehearsing. I'm saying my one sentence over and over and over again in my head. Hello, I am John, and this week I am working on the report. I'll say it 10 times, maybe 20 times.
You're completely trapped in your own head. You're not present in the meeting at all. You know you only have to give a short update, maybe just 2 minutes on your project, but the pressure feels enormous.
It feels like I have to give a speech at the United Nations.
And then there's the silence. You mentioned this. The silence is terrifying.
Oh, it's the worst part for me.
Tell me more about that silence. When does it happen?
It happens right at the end of a presentation. The manager stops talking. He's finished sharing his screen. He looks at the camera and says,
Does anyone have any questions?
exactly that. And then just silence.
Yeah.
Absolute silence.
And what do you do in that silence?
I stay silent. I freeze. Even if I have a question. Even if I'm confused about something important for the project, I don't ask.
Why not?
I'm too scared of making a mistake in front of everybody. I think if I ask a question, I will look stupid. My question will sound wrong.
That is a perfect, classic example of language imposter syndrome. You deny yourself the chance to learn and participate, all because of fear. You silence your own voice.
I do. And while I'm being silent, I'm thinking about my colleagues.
What are you thinking?
I'm comparing myself to them. I'm looking at the little squares on the screen. I see the native speakers. I see the other fluent speakers. And I'm just thinking, everyone else speaks perfect English. I'm the only weak one here. I'm the only one who struggles.
That comparison is so painful. It's a very lonely feeling. It makes you feel completely isolated.
It does. And so I try to hide.
How do you hide?
Well, I turn my camera off. I do it often.
Yeah.
If my camera's off, I feel like people can't see me blushing if I get nervous. I feel invisible. It feels safer.
That's a coping mechanism. I understand why you do it. It makes you feel safe in the moment. But let's think about the cost of that.
What is the cost?
It disconnects you from your team. You become just a name inside a black square. You are hiding your presence, your contribution.
You're right. I am hiding. There's another situation that's just so frustrating. It makes me feel terrible. Technical difficulties.
Oh, this one is so unfair, but it is so real. Tell us about that.
It's when the internet connection is bad. Maybe the Wi-Fi is slow or the other person have a bad microphone.
Right. The audio is cutting in and out. The connection is unstable. It sounds like a robot talking, and you just can't understand what they're saying.
Exactly. And so what do I say? I have to say sorry. Could you repeat that? Sorry. I say sorry 5 times in a row.
And how does it feel when you have to say sorry over and over?
I feel guilty. I feel like it's my fault. It feels like a language failure on my part. I think if I were a native speaker, I would be able to understand this bad audio.
But just think about that logic for a second. It's just technology. It's a bad wire. It's a slow internet signal. It is not your English.
I know that logically, but it doesn't feel logical.
I know. The imposter syndrome makes you take the blame. It tells you that if your English were better, you could somehow understand through the static.
It's a heavy burden to carry, taking responsibility for the company's internet connection. But that's how it feels. And the feeling, it lasts a long time, doesn't it?
It does. It lingers. This is what we call the aftermath. Let's imagine you make one small mistake in a meeting. Maybe you used the wrong word for a deadline. You said Tuesday when you really meant to say Thursday.
Okay.
You correct it immediately. You say, oh, sorry, I meant Thursday.
That seems like a very small thing.
It is tiny. But how do you react internally?
I think about that one mistake all day long. I'll go home, I'll be making dinner, and I am self-thinking, why did I say Tuesday? I'm so stupid.
You replay it in your head over and over and over. It's like a bad movie that you can't stop watching.
And in that movie, I forget all the good things I did that day.
Exactly. You feel like a fake professional. You completely forget that you wrote a fantastic report that morning. You forget that you solved a really difficult coding problem. You forget that the client was happy with your work.
I only see the grammar mistake.
You zoom in on that one negative thing until it's all you can see.
That sounds exhausting. And, it is exhausting. I feel tired just talking about it.
It is draining. It takes up so much of your mental energy. But we need to look at the reality of the situation. We need to wake up from this bad dream. And to do that, we need to look at the people we are comparing ourselves to. We need to talk about the native speakers.
The native speakers. The gold standard. The ones with the perfect English.
Is it perfect, though? Let's really, really think about this.
Well, it certainly seems perfect to me. They speak so fast. They know all the idioms. They make jokes. It sounds effortless.
I have a secret for you. And for everyone listening right now, this is a very important secret. Native speakers do not speak perfect English.
Really, it sounds so perfect when I hear it.
Really? Native speakers make grammar mistakes constantly. They use the wrong words. They forget what they were saying in the middle of a sentence. This happens all the time, in every meeting, in every office, every single day.
But then why does it seem so different when they do it? When I make a mistake, I panic. When they make a mistake, nobody even seems to care.
The difference is not the mistake itself. The difference is the reaction to the mistake. Native speakers feel relaxed about their mistakes. They don't see a grammar error as a disaster.
So what do they see it as?
They see it as a small bump in the road. They just drive over it and keep going. They don't stop the car and analyze the bump for 3 hours.
Can you give us some examples? I need to visualize this. What does a native speaker's mistake actually look like?
Of course. Think about filler words. Native speakers use them all the time. They say, or,
Or like.
Oh, yes. They might say like every 3 words. It was like a really good meeting and like we should probably do it again.
That's true. I hear that all the time. And they do it while they're thinking.
Exactly. They are buying time to think. They're not afraid of the messy sound of a brain working. They also forget common words. Have you ever heard a native speaker say, what's the word for that? It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember it.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
They'll look up at the ceiling or snap their fingers until they remember the word.
And what happens? Does anyone laugh? Does anyone think they're stupid or that they're an imposter?
No, not at all. People usually try to help them find the word.
Right. It's just a normal memory slip. It happens to all human brains. What about emails?
Emails.
They send emails with spelling mistakes all the time.
I have seen that. My own manager sends emails with typos. Sometimes he'll type there instead of there.
And what does he do when he realizes his mistake? Does he panic? Does he send a long email apologizing?
No. Usually he just sends a second email 1 minute later that simply says there with an asterisk. Or sometimes he doesn't even fix it at all. He just assumes we understand from the context.
Precisely. He assumes that you are smart enough to understand the message despite the small error. He trusts you.
Okay, I see that. What about in meetings?
Think about a fast-paced Zoom call. 2 native speakers will often start talking at the exact same time.
Oh, that happens all the time. It sounds a little chaotic. Oh, sorry, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, you first.
It's messy. Communication is messy. It is not a perfectly scripted movie. Even for people who were born in the US or the UK or Australia, a presenter might have to check their notes 5 times because they forgot the data. A team member might ask a very, very basic question because they weren't listening for a minute.
And our HR department is always saying there are no stupid questions.
They say that because it's true. The goal of communication at work is not poetry. It is not perfect grammar. We are not trying to write a novel.
So what is the goal?
The goal is clear ideas.
Clear ideas. That's a good way to think about it. It shifts the goal from perfection to clarity.
If you have a fantastic idea for a new project, nobody's going to care if you use the past tense instead of the present perfect tense. They care about your idea. They care about the solution you're offering.
And I suppose my colleagues forget my mistakes, just like I forget theirs.
Let's think about that honestly. Can you remember a small grammar mistake that your colleague made last Tuesday?
No, I can't remember that at all. I can barely remember what I had for lunch last Tuesday.
Exactly. They forget your mistakes immediately, but you remember them. You hold on to them. And this brings us to a very important psychological concept. It helps explain why we feel this so strongly. It's called the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect. That sounds like a term from the theater, like we're on a stage.
It's a metaphor from the theater,
Yeah.
yes. Imagine you are standing on a dark stage, but there is one bright, hot spotlight shining only on you. You are the only thing anyone can see.
Okay.
You feel like everyone in the huge, dark audience is staring at you. They're watching your every movement. They're listening to your every breath.
That is exactly how I feel in a meeting. I feel like that light is burning me.
That is the feeling. The spotlight effect is the psychological belief that everyone is looking at you and noticing your mistakes much, much more than they actually are.
So it's a belief, not a reality.
It's not the reality. Here's the reality. The audience is not watching you.
They're not. But they're looking right at the screen.
They might be looking at the screen, but they are thinking about themselves. Most people, most of the time, are focused on their own problems, their own work, their own deadlines, and what they're going to have for lunch. They're worried about their own spotlight.
So the spotlight that feels so real, it's only in my head.
Yes. It is an illusion created by your anxiety. Let's reframe some daily situations to prove this. Let's look at situation A. You've used the wrong verb tense in a sentence.
Okay. For example, I say, I go to the client yesterday instead of I went to the client yesterday.
Okay. Your fear is the entire team is judging me. They think I'm uneducated. They are laughing inside.
Yes. That is the fear.
Hey.
I feel my face get hot with shame.
Now here's the reality. They're thinking about their own deadline at 5:00 p.m. They understood exactly what you meant because you used the word yesterday. Their brain corrected your sentence automatically without even thinking. They moved on instantly. They probably did not even register the error.
Okay. That makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah.
What about situation B? My accent. I feel my accent is terrible and heavy sometimes. I feel like it's hard for people to listen to me.
Okay. Your fear is they can hear where I am from and they are judging it. They think I sound unprofessional.
Yeah.
The reality is your colleagues hear that you are being polite. They hear that you are speaking clearly. They are listening to the content of your message, not the sound of your voice. They're listening for information that helps them do their job.
So they just want the information. They don't care about the packaging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about that bright light feeling you get on Zoom?
Yes, I feel like my little square on the screen is huge, like a giant face that everyone is staring at.
But look at the screen logically next time. If there are 20 people on the call, you are just one small square in the corner. You're the size of a postage stamp. You are not the center of the image.
That's a good point. We're all just small squares in a gallery.
And people are busy. In a modern workplace, everyone is rushing. Everyone is stressed. Nobody has the time or the mental energy to sit there and count your grammar mistakes. They just don't.
So if I stay quiet in a meeting, they're not thinking, oh, he's not smart.
No. If you're quiet, they're probably thinking he's listening carefully, or he must be busy with another task, or maybe he looks tired today, or simply he agrees with the plan. They do not automatically jump to the conclusion that your English is bad. That is your own insecurity talking, not their judgment.
I really need to remember that. They invited me to the meeting for my skills, right? Not for my English.
Exactly. They hired you for your engineering skills or your marketing skills or your coding skills. They did not hire you to be an English professor. They hired you to solve business problems.
That is a huge relief. It takes some of the weight off my shoulders.
So we know the fear is mostly in our heads. We understand psychology of the spotlight effect, but we still need tools. We need practical ways to handle those difficult moments. When the panic starts to rise, what can we actually do?
Yes, I need a strategy. Because when I panic, I do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I try to speak very, very fast. I try to rush through the sentence to get it over with.
And then what happens?
Then I make even more mistakes.
That's the natural instinct. We think speed equals fluency. But the real solution is the complete opposite. The solution is to slow down. I call this the buy time communication toolkit.
Buy time. I like that. It sounds like I'm purchasing a few extra seconds to breathe and think.
That's exactly what you're doing. You do not need to answer fast to sound professional. You need to answer clearly. If you answer too quickly, you might say something you don't mean. If you buy time, you can organize your thoughts. You can find the right vocabulary.
Okay. Can you teach us some of these buy time phrases? I'm ready to write them down.
Absolutely. Let's start with phrase number 1. This is for when you need a moment to think. The phrase is, that's an interesting point. Let me think about that.
That's an interesting point. Let me think about that.
This phrase is like magic. It gives you about 3 or 4 seconds of silence. But it's not an awkward silence, it's a thinking silence. It signals to everyone that you are carefully processing the information.
It makes me sound thoughtful, like I'm considering the idea deeply.
Yeah.
It actually makes me sound smarter.
Exactly. Imagine your manager asks for your opinion in a meeting. What do you think about the new strategy? You're not ready. You feel that panic rising. Instead of saying, or just stumbling over your words, you can look calm and say, that's an interesting point. Let me think about that for a second.
And in that second, I can breathe. I can find my words.
You're back in control. This is also perfect for job interviews.
Oh, that's a great idea.
If they ask you a difficult personal question, like, what is your greatest weakness? You don't have to answer in 1 second. You can say, that's an interesting point. Let me think about that. It shows confidence.
What if I disagree with someone? Does it work then?
It works there too. If you need to prepare a polite counter-argument, you need a moment to structure your thoughts and your grammar. This phrase gives you that moment. It's like pushing the pause button on the pressure.
Okay. Phrase number 1 is for thinking. What is phrase number 2?
Phrase number 2 is for when you don't understand something. It is, could you elaborate?
Could you elaborate? That word elaborate sounds very professional.
It is a beautiful word. It just means tell me more or explain in more detail. But elaborate sounds much more professional than saying, I don't understand.
So when would I use this?
Imagine a colleague uses a new technical word you don't know. Instead of saying, I don't know that word, which can feel a bit weak, you say, could you elaborate on that technical part?
So I'm putting the work back onto them. They're the one who has to explain it more clearly.
Yes, you are managing the flow of the conversation. It's also fantastic for dealing with fast talkers. If a native speaker is explaining a project timeline very, very quickly and you're getting lost in the details, you can gently interrupt and say, could you elaborate on the timeline for phase 2?
And that forces them to slow down and explain it more simply. I love that. It controls the speed of the conversation without me having to say, please speak slowly.
Exactly. It is a polite and professional way to slow down the train. Now, phrase number 3. This one is for when you want to be 100% sure you've understood correctly. The phrase is, just to clarify.
Just to clarify, I think I use this one sometimes, but maybe I don't use it enough.
It is so powerful. You use this to check your understanding before you commit to an answer or an action. It prevents so many misunderstandings later.
So for example, if a client gives a very long and confusing explanation of what they want.
Perfect example. The client talks for 5 minutes about dates and numbers and features. You're getting lost. You feel that panic. You just say, thank you. Just to clarify, you would like the final report by Friday, correct?
It boils everything down to one simple, verifiable sentence.
It confirms the most important point. It's also a lifesaver when the audio quality is bad on a call. If there's background noise or a bad connection, instead of saying what, you say, just to clarify, did you say 15, F-I-F-T-E-E-N, or 50, F-I-F-T-Y?
That prevents huge mistakes later on. It's much better to ask now than to do the wrong work for a week.
It protects you. It protects the project. It is not a sign of weakness to ask for clarification. It is the sign of a true professional who cares about accuracy and quality.
So we have 3 main tools in our toolkit. Let me think about that. Could you elaborate? And just to clarify.
3 simple, powerful tools. Keep them in your pocket. You can even write them on a sticky note and put it on your computer monitor. When the panic comes, you don't have to think. You just read the note.
That is very practical advice. I feel better already, just knowing I have a script to follow. But there's one thing that still bothers me.
What is that?
It's my accent. No matter how many phrases I learn, no matter how much I practice slowing down, I still sound different. I still sound like a foreigner. And I can't really change that.
I completely understand that feeling. It's a very deep part of your identity. But I want to challenge you and everyone listening to shift your perspective. We need to change the mindset about what an accent really means.
How can I change my mindset? I hear my own accent every time I speak.
You need to see your accent for what it truly is. Yeah. Your accent is not a mistake. Your accent is not a weakness. Your accent is your story.
My story.
Yes, your accent means you speak more than one language. That is audible proof that you are bilingual. or maybe trilingual. That is a huge strength. It carries your history, it carries the sounds of your country, your culture, it carries your unique experience in the world.
So I shouldn't be trying to erase it. I shouldn't be trying to sound more American or more British.
No, you should not try to erase your identity. Clarity is important, yes. We want people to understand us easily, but you do not need to sound like you were born in Ohio or London. You just need to sound like you. Your voice is unique and valuable.
Sometimes people ask me, where are you from? I always feel a little shy when they ask that. I feel like they're pointing out that I'm different.
But that question can be reframed as a moment of pride. When someone asks, where are you from? They are often just interested in you. It's a connection point. It's an open door for you to share a part of your story.
That's a different way to look at it. And sometimes my background actually helps the business.
Exactly. If you have a client from your region of the world, you have cultural knowledge that the native speakers on your team do not have. You can help the team understand the local market. That is valuable. That is money for the company.
I guess it is a kind of superpower. I can be the bridge between two cultures.
And think about the mental flexibility it requires. You switch between languages every single day. You translate thoughts in your head. You navigate completely different grammar systems. You are doing gymnastics with your brain all day long. That shows an incredibly high level of intelligence.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah,
I'm doing twice the mental work of some of my colleagues.
you are. And there's another beautiful thing about your accent. It signals safety to other people.
What do you mean by safety?
Imagine there is a junior colleague on your team. Maybe they are young, and they're also a non-native speaker. They are very nervous about an upcoming meeting. Then they enter the room and they hear your voice, they hear your accent, and they see that you are confident and respected by the team.
They feel relieved. They realize they are not alone. They see that success is possible for them too.
Exactly. You are creating a welcoming and inclusive environment just by being your authentic self. You become a role model without even trying.
That's a really nice thought, that I could be helping others just by speaking with my natural voice.
I want to leave you with one final thought for your mindset. It's a kind of logic puzzle, and I want you to use this whenever you feel weak or like an imposter.
Okay, I like logic puzzles.
Think about your native speaking colleagues, the ones you sometimes admire and compare yourself to. How often do they work in your first language?
Never. They only speak English. Most of them probably couldn't even order a coffee in my language.
Exactly. They rarely, if ever, work in your language. But you work in their language every single day. You solve complex problems, you write detailed reports, you negotiate contracts, you do all of this and more in a second language.
Wow. When you say it like that, it does sound impressive. I'm playing the game of business on hard mode.
It is incredibly impressive. So the next time that imposter voice whispers in your ear, the next time it tells you that you are not good enough, I want you to have an answer ready for it.
What should I say back to that voice?
You look that voice in the eye and you say this: I work, think, and solve problems in more than one language. That is more than enough.
That is more than enough. I like that. It feels final, complete.
Now let's slow down even more. We have covered a lot of ground today. We've traveled from the physical symptoms of fear all the way to the practical tools of communication. I want to summarize the most important points for you. I will speak clearly. Please listen carefully. Imposter syndrome makes you feel your English is weak, but the reality is that your work is good and your colleagues respect you. Native speakers also make many mistakes, forget words, and get nervous, so you do not need to be perfect to be a professional. The spotlight effect is a trick of the mind. Your colleagues are focused on their own work, not on judging your grammar. Use by time phrases like, could you elaborate, to handle difficult questions calmly and regain control. Your accent is a strength that shows your history, your culture, and your amazing ability to work in two languages.
Thank you. That was a perfect summary. Now I believe it's time for our vocabulary word tour.
Yes, we have selected 10 important words from today's deep dive. We will give you the word, a simple definition, and an example sentence. We'll leave a short silence between each word so you can process it.
Let's begin.
Word 1, imposter.
Definition: a person who pretends to be someone else or feels like a fake.
Example: I felt like an imposter because I was the only new person on the team.
Word 2, elaborate.
definition, to explain something in more detail.
Example. That is a good plan, but could you elaborate on the cost?
Word 3, clarify.
Definition. To make a statement clearer or easier to understand.
Example, I need to clarify the deadline before I start the project.
Word 4. Colleague.
Definition, a person you work with.
Example. My colleague helped me prepare for the big presentation.
Word 5, spotlight.
Definition. A strong light that shines on one person, feeling like everyone is watching you.
Example, I hate the spotlight, so I prefer to listen during meetings.
Word 6. Definition. Connected to the place where a person was born.
Example, she is a native speaker of Spanish, but her English is excellent. Word 7,
Judgment.
definition, the opinion or decision someone makes about you.
Example. I worry about the judgment of others when I make a mistake.
Word 8,
Accent.
definition, a way of pronouncing words that is connected to a country or area.
Example. He has a French accent, which makes his voice sound very unique.
Word 9, flexibility.
Definition. The ability to change or adapt easily.
Example, working in 2 languages requires great mental flexibility.
Word 10. Fluency.
Definition, the ability to speak or write a language easily and well.
Example. Her fluency improved after she started speaking in meetings every day.
That's it for today. Remember, every minute you spend listening is a step closer to fluency. If you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe and join our learning community. Before you go, I have a challenge for you. Write 1 new word you learned today in the comment field below. I will see you at our next episode at Steady Step English.